crowding out public health guidance for the most part.
So, I mean, where do you see the future going? I mean, it's hard to say right now when it's so heavily politicized like you were talking about, but do you see it ever coming out of that or no? Is it just going to be this constant battle or over who's going to be in the administration makes up the rules with the HHS?
Yeah, I mean, so right now, one of the things we're seeing is that states are really moving in different directions. So we're tracking this, and about half of the states have come out and said we're going to make our own vaccine determinations for where people can get vaccinated and if it's covered by our insurance plans. And almost all those states have Democratic governors. Not all of them, but almost all do. So we're seeing this red-blue divide, which is not, from a public health perspective, you don't want that. You want people to have access to all public health interventions, regardless of where they live. What will happen in the future? I don't know. I mean, I as a public health person, I know that the likelihood of another pandemic is high. Doesn't mean it's tomorrow, doesn't mean it's next year, but it's going to happen at some point. Does that mean it will bring us together? It could. Hopefully, that I don't want that to happen, but if it did, I would hope that people would come together and realize that for the benefit of everybody, we have to, that we have to understand that there are measures to be taken. But to answer your question, I don't know. If anyone has any brilliant ideas how to bring us more together on these, I think it would be really good for the country.
Yeah, no doubt. I wish we all had that crystal ball there to see what would happen. But Dr. Cates, thanks so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox. We really appreciate it.
Sure, thank you.
You take care. All right, everyone. We'll take a 2-minute break here on Live Now from Fox. When we come back, we'll get to some international news, including the latest in the war. We are back here for you on Live Now from Fox. Thanks again for joining us. Coming up at the top of the hour, I'm your host, Mike Page. 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. out on the West Coast. We want to bring in some international news right now. And let's talk about the latest with the war in Ukraine. Russia continues.
Right now at 5. County, state, and federal law enforcement are all now searching for 2 robbery suspects. That manhunt forcing the cancellation of a high school homecoming football game. Charges have been filed after children were found living in a Milwaukee storage unit. And after being accused of abusing dogs, a man has been found not guilty of those charges. Plus, car dealerships are trying to spark some last-minute interest in electric vehicles.
There's evidence that a meaningful share of the EVs that were being sold were being purchased because of the incentive.
The expiring incentive companies believe could drive down sales. And it's a busy weekend across the metro. We are breaking down all the fun that's happening through Sunday.
This is Fox 9 News at 5.
Well, after a rainy end to the work week on Friday, there was some sunshine across the metro this weekend. This is a live look at downtown Minneapolis. A beautiful day out there right now, and it sure feels lucky to have that. Thanks for joining us here at 5 on Fox 9 Plus. I'm Karen Scullen. Meteorologist Mace Michaels joining us now. All right, hopefully we're done with the rain and we can finish off with a really nice forecast, Mace.
Yeah, not completely done with the rain, Karen, but not too many raindrops around. Nice to have that sunshine outside. Same thing here over the lake, although it's not a lot of sun. Clouds definitely blotting back the sun, and even a few showers may be off in the distance. You'll see that here on the satellite and radar. Low pressure center continues to curve away in the western part of the state. These showers popping up, and a few may cruise the metro in the next couple hours. Other showers in west central areas of Wisconsin. As you look towards Northfield and south to Zumbrota, and also on the west metro, maybe Watertown, Delano, westward all the way along Highway 12. Some showers starting to pop up there as well. Nothing really too heavy. A shower or two around Foley. Other showers from Wilmer and Redwood Falls southward to Marshall and Worthington, and northward along 71 to Park Rapids and Bemidji. Isolated showers St. Cloud northward to Brainerd and near Grand Rapids. Temps in the 70s where it's not raining, 60s where some of those showers have been passing through over the last few hours. We'll look for temps to fall to 60 once again. We could have some patchy fog into tomorrow morning. Otherwise, the showers stay pretty light, and a stray drip or two tomorrow with a little more sun, Karen. Looks like mid-70s for us. A look at the week ahead coming up.
All right, that Sunday looks pretty good. Thank you, Mace. A major music festival is celebrating a huge milestone. For 40 years now, the Farm Aid fundraiser has helped raise money to help out farmers. It has generated more than $85 million since its inception. Along with fundraising are performances by some of music's biggest stars. Fox 9's Leon Purvis is live at Huntington Bank Stadium for the big event tonight. I imagine a lot of excitement because there are some big names there tonight.
Karen, a lot of excitement indeed. Everyone's excited. Just take a look over my shoulder. Right now you have Lucas Nelson on the stage, right? But everyone is excited for Bob Dylan to perform tonight. This is the first time he'll be performing in 10 years, or rather more than a decade, in Minneapolis. So a lot of people are here to see that. Also, this was co-founded by Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp, and Neil Young. So it's a lot of excitement around this, and it's going to benefit the independent farmers. You know, I talked to some folks who said they grew up on a farm, and they said how important it is to support the local farmer. And as you can see, everyone here is in support of that. The crowd has been growing and growing throughout the night, and it is just an exciting time to, you know, enjoy some live music. You know, you see some folks dancing around here, dancing in the stands and everything. Some people have farmer shirts on, so it's an exciting time to come out and see Bob Dylan here tonight. We're live in Minneapolis. Leon Purvis, Fox 9.
All right, pretty packed out there. Looks like a great night, too. All right, thank you, Leon. Turning to some more serious news, the FBI, BCA, and the Washington County Sheriff's Office are all now looking for two suspects that robbed 3 people at gunpoint. That robbery happening last night, forcing the cancellation of the Matomidi High School homecoming football game. Law enforcement believes it was not a random act and that the suspects are no longer in the area. Now, the call initially came in around 5 p.m. yesterday as a kidnapping related to a robbery at gunpoint. That happening at the 7300 block of Inwood Way North in the city of Grant. 3 victims were located at the scene and were not injured. We will continue to follow this story for any updates. New tonight, we've learned a man has died after being shot earlier in the week near the Lake Street Transit Station in Minneapolis. Police say 46-year-old Adam John Peterson died from his injuries at the hospital today after being shot on Monday. In the aftermath of that shooting, 5 men were found with gunshot wounds. Investigators are still trying to piece together what led up to that shooting. So far, there have been no arrests. Police chiefs and the Hennepin County Sheriff are calling the new Mary Moriarty traffic stops policy a dangerous overreach. The county attorney announced 3 days ago she won't pursue charges stemming from minor infractions. Fox 9's Corin Hogger dug into the data from Ramsey County, where they launched a similar policy in 2021. As he tells us, part of the problem from law enforcement is that they were not consulted on this.
They say Moriarty essentially hid this rollout from them even when they asked for it. So they think it's a bad policy that they at least could have made better. Moriarty's office says it's a policy that's worked in a lot of other places, and they worried the chiefs would essentially try to sabotage it.
The traffic stop is about to go away as an enforcement tool in Hennepin County under a new policy announced by Mary Moriarty. And a lot of law enforcement leaders don't like it.
Once again, the county attorney is prioritizing offenders over public safety.
Hennepin County Sheriff DeWanna Witt gave the example of a May traffic stop for tinted windows, where deputies seized a modified 9mm they connected to a pair of shootings. In all, though, deputies have seized 175 firearms in about 101,000 traffic stops this year. That's one firearm for every 579 stops.
Because it's not a very effective tactic. And what I would love to see in this conversation is, how do we use our resources better? Every police department in America virtually is understaffed at the moment.
Jared Fishman's Justice Innovation Lab researched Ramsey County crime data from before and after County Attorney John Choi implemented a similar policy 4 years ago. They found a major reduction in traffic stops, but not much change in the number of seized firearms or the level of violent crime. Law enforcement leaders say Hennepin County is different, and unlike in Ramsey County, they didn't get to weigh in on the policy.
All we are asking for, and we should have been invited to the table and had a conversation about how this affects our communities, and maybe it could have been adjusted in a certain way.
And Moriarty's office says they are planning to have those conversations with law enforcement now, and that's why they won't implement the policy for a month. Corin Hoggart, Fox 9.
We are learning more about 6 children who were found in a storage unit in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The parents, 36-year-old Charles Dupree and Asia Zielinski, face charges of child neglect and a felon possessing a firearm. The two were found sleeping in an SUV in the storage unit's parking lot. They told police they were having trouble finding a place to stay after being kicked out of a homeless shelter. Dupree and Zielinski also admitted they always slept in the car and not with their children. Photos from inside the storage unit showed a twin mattress and a bucket where the children would use the bathroom. The 6 kids were as young as 2 months old. New tonight at 5, the $7,500 tax credit for someone purchasing new electric vehicles is set to expire on September 30th. President Trump's big, beautiful bill will repeal it starting in October. But as our Madison Scarpino tells us, this could hurt the industry more than ever.
A $7,500 federal tax credit for new electric vehicles is expiring on September 30th, and some analysts are expecting shoppers to take advantage of buying a clean vehicle before then.
That may actually draw in new EV buyers. It may also push up purchases that people were going to make maybe next December, next January.
The credit is part of tax incentives expiring this year, aimed at helping Americans afford cleaner energy alternatives while pushing to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. But the clock is ticking for Americans who want to save thousands of dollars on home efficiency upgrades and electric cars. Stephanie Weber, an economics professor at the University of Colorado Boulder, warns EV sales could drop without the federal subsidies.
It might be sort of a flattening out of growth. Over the longest term, I think we're just going to see less product introduction. Some automakers have already actually canceled EVs that they had previously announced.
According to a joint study in November from professors at several American schools, including Duke and Stanford University, EV registration could decline by 27% without the incentive, which also includes a $4,000 credit for pre-owned cars.
There's evidence that a meaningful share of the EVs that were being sold were being purchased because of the incentive.
Some automakers are urging customers to purchase an EV before September ends, including Tesla and Ford. In Atlanta, Madison Scarpino, Fox 9.
Well, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, Minneapolis might just be the place to be on Sunday, especially. First, the Bengals are in town to take on the Vikings. Kickoff is at noon at US Bank Stadium. Then the Twins will play their final home game of the season at Target Field. That happening at 1:10. And we've talked about the Lynx also playing at the Target Center. While it will be busy, city officials are excited and prepared for the big crowds.
When you have at least a range of estimate of who's going to attend events, we're in the 150 to 200,000 people range this weekend, and we can have a pretty good idea of what the impacts are. That also helps to plan for some of the logistics of these events too. So we're hoping for a big weekend. Come down, spend some money on some local restaurants and bars, and buy some gear, buy some Lynx gear and some Vikings gear, and cheer your team on.
For more information on these events, you can head to fox9.com. The Twins played 2 of their final 3 games at home for the season. Don Mitchell joining us now with a recap of the first game and a preview of tonight's game at 6. We will be right back.